Like now?
Now.
You're gonna give me a signal?
No, I already did it.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Episode X. Welcome, guys. I want to kick off the show actually with just a quick, just a little bit of a somber note. R.I.P. to the one and only Norm Macdonald, who passed
Yeah,
away today, 61. Scotty, you told me about it first. Very, very sad. I love Norm Macdonald. I really only consumed his stuff as like in the last couple of years, just like YouTube clips and things of old jokes, and a lot of his late night stuff's great. Scotty, you shared a couple of that was really good. The moth joke I think I mentioned is like gonna be it's permanently like branded into my brain. Very, very unique guy. You have anything to say about Norm? I mean, very, very interesting guy, a very unique style of comedy, and he kind of like was on the not quite Andy Kaufman because Andy Kaufman was out there, but he had a style that kind of was intentionally like to make you uncomfortable a little bit, like in a funny, non-threatening way. So very, very unique.
yeah. I don't think we'll ever see a comedian like him again. I don't think comedians like him will even be allowed to exist in mainstream anything, now. But he's a legend, and I'm sure that he'd probably be telling some jokes right now about his own passing because that's just the way he was with just weird, dark but dry humor. Just it's good stuff. Definitely gonna miss him.
In other not as sad, but also kind of just like end of an era kind of thing. You see, yesterday Ryan Braun announced his retirement.
You know what? Screw that guy.
Wait a minute. Hold on a
Yeah,
second. Time out. Time out. Time out. I don't want to. Don't even listen. You just come off the heels of the RIP message. Don't the flames. I saw a flame
that's
shoot up behind you.
that's why
Hold on a
there's
second.
flames because they're not even you. It's like going from like a really sad thing, and you're like even like another like tragic news, but not as tragic. There's nothing tragic about Ryan
I,
Braun's
I
situation.
didn't say tragic. I said end of an era. I mean, it in that it is. I mean, listen, Ryan Braun, like, love him or hate him, like the dude's he's like a franchise home run lead. He's a record holder. Like I know
He
he's got a checkered past, but all I'm trying to say is I wasn't surprised by it, but kind of came out of nowhere, and I don't know. I thought it was impressive that for 10 years after he was actually good, he was still playing.
because he totally ripped off the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Brewers made a horrible investment. They let all those superstars go so they could pay Ryan Braun, and after he signs this big league deal that he couldn't get out, that we're bound to, he gets caught with performance enhancing drugs, and he sucked after he got busted. So it's actually a great day that Ryan Braun retired because now finally the Milwaukee Brewers organization can move on from a mistake that probably cost them championships because they had a great team for a long period of time, despite Ryan Braun, yet he was sucking up all that money that they could have been spending elsewhere. So
Hold on. First of all, he already was released from the team. He wasn't playing this year. He
this
was
year,
really.
right?
Well, yeah. Okay. So like he's done with Milwaukee.
Yeah,
Also, you're gonna. I mean, yes, he was using PEDs, but you telling me that the club didn't know about it like at all? Like I'm sure they knew to some level, and also they chose to pay the guy. I mean, you always know. I mean, look what happened with Pujols. Like you always know that if you sign giant long contracts like that, there's a chance that they won't turn out. We talked about this a bunch of times on this show. You can't blame Ryan. You can't hate Ryan Braun because he negotiated a contract. You
it
can
was
hate
on
him for
bad faith.
cheating.
He was
You can hate him for
cheating.
cheating, but there are tons of players that have cheated that you don't hate like this, like Brian, like with a Ryan Braun passion, a brawny passion.
I if you name him, I probably would, but I hate him in particular because he cheated his contract year, and the Brewers organization didn't know about it. He signed this long deal, then he gets busted. The
You don't
whole
know they didn't
franchise.
know about it. You didn't know they didn't know about it,
I
and
know that
also
I know that they didn't know about it
also you don't get a contract like that for one good year of performance. He had been good for several years. He
because
didn't
he had
just
been
cheat the one
cheating. He had
year.
been cheating for 4 years, and then he gets caught, and then he sucked. Then he couldn't stay
Yeah,
healthy, and then he's bad. And it's not, but it had nothing to do with I can accept someone like Pujols who just he declines with age. he got busted cheating, and he couldn't play like he played before because he's not cheating anymore because he got busted. He's a fraud. He's Ryan Fraud, not Ryan Braun. Anyways, let's move on.
What the hell's the matter with you? I thought I was in a bad mood today, and
I'm in a great mood. I'm glad he's finally gone. He's off the team. He's retired. He's been off the books. It's fantastic. It's great news.
This is Scotty on a good day. This is Scotty's good mood. Oh, Andrew, anything on Bronny?
Not nearly as passionate about Ryan Braun as Scott
I
is
wouldn't
over
think so.
here.
I didn't expect this. My goodness.
Yeah, I would say like, I mean, he hasn't really done anything spectacular recently, which is why it's probably not like, I don't know, it's not super shocking. I mean, I genuinely don't know when the last time he like was a starter on that team, let alone like, I don't know, he's not starting now, is he? I don't think
He's not on the team. He's retired,
yeah,
but he
like
2020
he was starting
last season. Yeah, like he was like playing last season, but like, whatever. I mean, I think it's fine. Like
I get fired up because hold on. I'll make this real quick. Instead of spending all this money on Ryan Braun, when I lived in Milwaukee, they could have signed Zach Greinke instead, who was amazing throughout the entire duration of Braun's contract. They could have given Greinke that same amount of money and kept him, and I could have seen that guy pitch every single summer night when I lived there. And I'm really mad that I had to look at that turtle head little D-bag.
So this is about you.
Yeah,
it's absolutely. Of course, it's about me.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't Milwaukee give Prince Fielder a terrible contract too? I mean, I don't think that the Brewers have been great like in terms of team management.
No, they didn't give him a big contract. He was around that early in that time too, but they let him kind of go as well. They only kept out of that whole core team that like was pretty successful in the
They gave him a contract that they both signed.
He was the only one that they invested in him because they didn't know that he was cheating. He got busted cheating.
You don't know he did.
I'm friends with the organization.
No, you're not at all. All right. Well, that was more than I anticipated from that. I just thought it was a little tidbit. I might just drop in there and then we move on. But we should do like which steroid users do you hate and which do you still admire? That's another day. We're going to get into obviously week 2 NFL stuff and kind of recap some of the other things we did last episode. But first, college football. I mean, there were a ton of teams that were upset this weekend. Some close games that highly ranked teams like just eked out, and then some pretty big losses. I was at the Ohio State game, and that was just a terrible game. We don't have to go through each one of these necessarily, but I just want to mention how weird of a weekend it was. Week 2 of college football. You have Ohio State losing to Oregon. I mean, they're both ranked teams, but so it's not a terrible loss. But Ohio State looked bad. I mean, that defense looked terrible. Texas A&M won. They beat Colorado, but only like 2 or 3 points. So that was crazy. Texas A&M is 5th in the country right now. USC lost to Stanford. Stanford wasn't ranked, and then USC fires their head coach. I don't know what's going on there. I wonder how long Urban Meyer's going to stick around in Jacksonville before taking the USC job. he might be drafting up his resignation letter.
If he doesn't make it the entire season, then he has to. Because I mean, what a joke that would be if Urban Meyer goes right back to college after this whole big deal this year, getting the number 1 overall pick. Like that would be just insane. But it could happen. I
wouldn't do it if I were him. I know he's obviously is good at college football. I mean, he would be successful there, but I don't think he would. I think I think all the health stuff is half BS and half mildly true. You know what I mean? I think the stress of all that shit and recruiting.
Now, if he gets blown out by the Texans, who were supposed to be like the worst team in football, they get blown out. He's gonna be real stressed if he can't take a loss very well.
That's only half true. I mean, the Jags they literally by definition were the last worst team last year. So like, you can't expect them to all of a sudden be like playoff contenders just because they have Trevor Lawrence. So
agreed. But they should at least be able to compete with the other worst team in football.
Yeah, I agree. I don't disagree. I'm just, urban. Um, BYU was another, BYU beat 21 Utah, and then Miami, who probably shouldn't be ranked, almost lost to App State. That would have been hilarious. But the main game I want to mention with in terms of college football, Notre Dame squeaks out another victory against Toledo. They won by 3 points after almost losing to Florida State in overtime not 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. Notre Dame, ranked eighth right now, is like the most overrated team in the country. I mean, I know Ohio State looked bad, but at least that was to Oregon. How you only beaten Toledo by 3 points? Notre Dame sucks. I can't stand Notre Dame.
Notre Dame is the most overrated institution in the history of sports. In the last 50 years, what have they really done? So they were great back like when our grandpa was a kid. Okay, cool. Like, Lou Holtz was on TV for the last 30 years kind of propping them up. But other than that, what has Notre Dame done? They get ranked high by the media, which you know how corrupt they are. And then they're just like, they play they don't have a conference. They play kind of teams they want to play, and they don't beat anyone good ever, but they only lose 3 games, and they go to the bowl game, and they get their butts kicked, and yet somehow they're always ranked in the top 10.
I find it hilarious your I find it hilarious you're saying that Lou Holtz Notre Dame maintained national prominence because Lou Holtz was propping them up.
At the halftime of every single football game that anyone that did the rankings watched, it was Lou Holtz. They're kind of like, talking in his all whatever voice and saying, "Well, Notre Dame's going to be the national champions this year."
So of course, same thing about you could say that about Mark. Mark May didn't do anything for Pitt, so anyway, Notre Dame sucks. Let's maybe we'll try to keep it tight today. Let's get into week 2 NFL stuff. I guess from week 1, our ripped off segment of these helmets. I think that it's going to prove to not be as fun as maybe I originally thought because I've already lost. I'm already in the hole. With the Patriots losing last week, Andrew's team, Washington, also lost, and Scotty and Nick are in the clear. I don't know if Nick actually knows about this yet, but that's okay for now. We'll do helmets at the end. We'll save that for the helmets. I gotta enunciate that. But let's do our Power 5. Let's get into some of the week 2 matchups. We'll keep a running list of our record, obviously, because we have stakes on the line. And we'll tweet out probably like quarterly updates on where the schedule's at. But for now, let's get into some of our next Power 5. I guess the first one, let's talk about. Oh gosh, we were talking about Urban Meyer, so let's talk about the Jags. So it's Broncos at Jags. Broncos are favored. It's Denver -6. Any initial thoughts on Broncos and Jags? So Broncos are coming off a win against the Giants, and as we just talked about, the Jags just lost pretty embarrassingly to the Texans. Any thoughts there?
It's really hard to see anything positive about the Jaguars from this past weekend. Trevor Lawrence had some good throws. The line didn't look very good. The defense didn't look very good at all. -6 for the Broncos. It's hard to see the Jaguars keep it this close. So I'd have to go with the Broncos on this one.
I think the Jags do better than last week, but that's not really saying all that much. I think Denver. Also they played the Giants team, who that offense is banged up. Saquon's not 100%. Galladay is not 100%. Their defense actually isn't that bad. But the Broncos played well, and I think it's the second game on the road, right? I think that the Broncos will be okay. The Broncos might start 2-0. I think that's pretty crazy. Bangs.
That's crazy.
But I think I'm also going to go Broncos, just because don't think the Jags have shown anything. I think the Jags' strength right now is their passing game, and the Broncos' strength is their defense and their secondary. So I think T-Law will be running around quite a bit. Broncos.
I agree actually with all of your points, Kev. I'm gonna go Broncos as well. I just love the fact that like everybody's making a big deal about how Trevor Lawrence, that was his first regular season loss. He didn't have any in college, didn't have any in high school. This was his first one, was in the NFL, and I think that there are a lot more to come. So I'm gonna have to take the Broncos here.
They will be at home though. First home crowd in a while.
I
And
genuinely don't think that matters here. I really don't. I think that
here or at all.
just for this game, I think that the Broncos are just gonna stomp them. So
It's
it's
Florida,
okay.
man. They get wild in Florida.
Yeah. Well, they're gonna
Is
be
there a team?
they're gonna be celebrating a big loss.
Does anyone think that there's a team out there that the Jaguars could actually beat right now?
Listen, it's the NFL. I mean, on any given Sunday, crazy things can happen, right? I mean, I would have said I actually think that if you set up Texans versus Jags like 5 games in a row, I think the Jags got embarrassed, and I think they'd probably win 3 of the next 4. I mean, they're not a bad team. I think the main thing is you got a lot of young guys figuring out the roster, a lot of new people in the organization after you brought a bunch of free agents and stuff in. This is going to take some time. The Texans, I think, are playing like off of pride. Like the team, like the Texans, bad teams, like teams that everybody knows is going to be bad. They usually play well at the beginning of the season because they're fresh. Everybody's 0-0. Like they're not in the once they start losing to some good teams and the record is really bad. I think things kind of take a turn, especially in the locker room. Like you kind of right now, they're playing with a lot of energy and a lot of pride. So I think that's attributes to why the Texans were able to beat them so badly last week. Um, but anyway, all right. Next game, let's do Bills at Dolphins. Bills minus 3.5. So you don't have to follow me. Obviously, that's kind of the point of this, right? But I think after losing the way they did to the Steelers, even though they're on the road, I think the Bills are going to come out and destroy the Dolphins. I think that they're not only going to. I mean, you could have given me Bills minus 10, and I would have taken it. I mean, I think the Bills are going to come lights out. I don't think that the Dolphins' offense is that good for it to be any kind of a shootout. I'm going Bills all the way. I just think that they are a shoo-in for the division anyway. And I don't think that Tua showed me anything that got me worried about a matchup against a good team.
I'm also going Bills, mainly because I think that yes, like last week they lost like in a really crappy manner, and I just think that like that offense is just gonna come in guns blazing, like there's just gonna be air balls everywhere, scoring plenty of touchdowns. So yeah, I got Bills as well here.
I think I'm going to go a little different route on this one. I think that the Bills had every opportunity to win that game against the Steelers. If they're at home, that crowd was fired up, and they could not do hardly anything offensively. Now, granted that the Steelers' defense is pretty good, but for them to not be able to take care of the Steelers at home, I think that the Bills might have some issues this season. And minus 3.5 is 3.5 right now. I think that there's definitely a chance that the Dolphins can come within a field goal, maybe still lose the game, but within a field goal or losing by a field goal. I could see that happening. So the Dolphins this time.
All right. But you guys choose your picks before we get on here, right?
Yeah, when you
Yeah.
sent the list, I did.
Yeah, we should do that. I don't want anybody riding my coattails.
Well, I chose something different than you, so it can't be me.
I'm just saying. You're making it. You're hearing the different thoughts and opinions and stuff. Be original. Do your thing.
Just because I take picks. I look at stuff every when the weekends. I always look at the next week's schedule, whether I know what the games are or not, and I think I know who I think's gonna win or who I like. But sometimes halfway through the day, I think something a little different, and I go a different way. It's just the way it goes. But I'm locked in now.
Fair enough. What's the next game?
I'm questioning now whether this is even like.
No, let's go.
Why?
I just want to do the next game.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Texans at Browns. It's Cleveland -12. So the reason I wanted this on here is because, as a Browns fan, I don't necessarily have anything to break down. This is a gut feeling, all right? The Browns, I'm taking Houston because Cleveland does not beat teams by 12 points, no matter how bad or how good they are. They don't do that. That's not their thing. They run the ball, clock control. I think they're going to have a lot of success running. Sticking to the game plan they want, play action. I think both Chubb and Hunt are going to have great games this week. I don't think it's going to be very high scoring. I think they're going to be able to shut down the Texans not fairly easily, but I think it'll be a closer game than this line would suggest. So I think I have the Browns winning. I don't think Houston's gonna win, but they're not gonna cover. I don't know. I petered out there. That
I'm
was really
going
bad.
Browns
You guys
all
should
the
make
way
fun of me
here.
more when you just let that stand there. You should ridicule me for not.
I think I'd rather let the audience ridicule you.
Here's what happened. It was the audience. Yes, our
Nailed
abundant
it.
audience. Here's the problem. I started off talking about the Browns, and I tampered myself down, and I came with no passion, no energy, no vigor, and it just didn't even say who cares, whatever. What is this? What are we even talking about right now? I'm losing
Because
confidence left and right. What are you even doing here?
Well, it's hard to match Scotty's passion
It
about
is. It's a little bit.
yeah.
It's not. I wouldn't call it intimidating. It's more off-putting.
Scotty
off-putting.
comes
Oh,
in hot.
off-putting, really?
Yeah,
I
really.
think it is intimidating. You still want to admit it. I don't know what you guys' problems are today, but
It's a weird one today. This is definitely a weird one.
Okay.
it's
I
only
don't know what it is. No, Andrew, what it is. We did an in-person show last week, and now we're back into the Zoom boxes. And I gotta say, I don't care for it. I like what we did last week.
Last
it's
week
good.
was fun. I'm sorry that I ruined it this week, but
You're
next
not
week.
feeling well. You're pushing yourself past your ailments. Yeah, so I appreciate that,
Well, thank
but
you.
I let myself get out of the virtual groove. That's what this is. That's
It's
what this
fair.
really is.
That's fair. But
Scotty, Houston's at Cleveland.
wait,
Houston's.
I didn't
I
even
would
get to.
gen
I
I
didn't
would
even
gen-
get to
I
say
cut you
my
off. I'm
points.
done with it. You're
Okay.
done.
I
I would
picked the
gener
Browns.
I would gener I would generally agree with you, Kev, that the Browns don't ever win by more than 10 points ever. And if this was a primetime game, if this was like a Thursday night game or a Sunday night game where all eyes are watching Cleveland, I absolutely think that they would choke and not win by this much. But at a 1 o'clock game, I think that it's a home game. The Browns fans are going to be fired up. There's no way that Tyrod Taylor can do what he did against the Jaguars defense to the Browns defense. Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett last week looked incredible when they almost like pancaked Mahomes. I think that defensive line is going to really be tough. I don't think the Texans are going to score a whole lot. I think that they're going to cover 12.5 easy. So going Browns. Way to be a true fan, by the way.
I think they're gonna win. Wait. Being a true fan is just blindly thinking they're going to win. It's about covering the spread,
Yes.
too. Oh, yeah, that's what it is?
Hey, listen, Germont Ray, they'll win every time. They'll win by more than that. You got to take that attitude.
Yeah. Andrew, did you have any actual points you wanted to share with us about Tyrod's revenge game at Cleveland?
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say the Browns, and we can move on.
Very
We don't
good.
need to hear from me that much. It's okay.
Very good. Yeah, rest your voice. All right, big matchup. I think it's the Sunday night football game. Chiefs at Ravens. The line is KC -3.5. this game.
Chiefs, easy peasy peasy. That is like the safest bet ever. I'll put money on that.
You should put money on it. How much
I
you gonna
will.
put on it?
I put $10 for the Chiefs to
For
cover the spread.
$10? Oh yeah, wow.
That's a lot for me. I only bet 5 max in most of my bets, so $10 it's a lot.
You spent more on lunch today than you would on that bet.
I'm not a big gambler, you know.
Okay. All right. I mean, I think I agree that I'm taking Kansas City too, but I don't agree with your blatant dismissal of everything Ravens. I mean, they played well against the Raiders last night. They lost, but they played well. I mean, it's still the Ravens. It's still going to be at home. I mean, they were on the road last night and they lost in overtime. So it's like I think it's incorrect of you to just be dismissive of Harbaugh and the Ravens.
I think that they choked late last night down the stretch. They could have easily won that game, but they choked. They gave it all away, and that was against a really poor Raiders team. I think they're going to underachieve this season. Raiders always start off hot and they peter out and they lose games they shouldn't lose. It'll be no different this year. And we're talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. We're talking about the defending NFC champion or AFC champions. You saw firsthand what they were able to do to the Browns defense. I mean, Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, they're gonna just light up the Ravens defense, and they'll wait. If the spread's only 3.5, if the spread was a little bit bigger, if the spread was like 6 or 10, I would say, all right, let's root for the Ravens here or pick the Ravens. But all Patrick Mahomes needs to do is decide, okay, hey, I think we're gonna win the game now, and I'm just gonna throw the ball down the field and score a touchdown, and that's what they do. That's what they do every single year. So taking the Chiefs.
You know, I can't stand you sometimes.
Why?
What is that for now? What are you even what are you doing there? Like,
What am I doing?
it just doesn't sound like you even think through anything. You just go, it's the Chiefs, it's Mahomes, it's Andy Reid, red and yellow, PC.
It's because I did my prep work already. What do you mean?
Then give me some of your prep work. You just say they do this every year. That's your prep work?
Every single game. It's a close spread.
And also,
okay?
They didn't light up the Browns defense. I will just want to say they didn't light anything up. They were losing in the third quarter. They didn't trail until the very end of the game, or so they weren't leading until the very end of the game. So they didn't light anybody up. I mean, what are you doing there? So you're saying that? Oh, actually, but by de facto, you're saying that the Browns, because they only barely lost to the Chiefs, the Browns were in that game to the very end too, that they would also beat up on Baltimore in Baltimore? If it was Browns minus 3.5, you think no problem, easy?
I think they could win that game.
I would take the Browns there too.
No, yeah. I might too, but I'm just saying, Scotty, that
So I definitely choose the Chiefs. If I think that the Browns probably would win, I'm definitely saying the Chiefs would win. I mean, how are the Chiefs going to lose this game? It's Sunday night football.
I just find it so grating how definitive you are. I mean, I know it's like, I mean, you might call it a sign of confidence, but it comes off as like just flippant. You're just like, this is it, and I'm right, and good to go.
I mean, what's the use in life of being uncertain about things? You do an analysis, you figure it out. I've gone through every angle that I could think of, and I think this is what's going to happen. Why would I be all wishy-washy about it? What the hell is that?
I don't think it's about being it's about uncertainty, but it's about appreciating that things can go in multiple different ways.
Could they lose?
There are multiple different outcomes, and I think having an appreciation for that reality is important, and you don't seem to show any of that.
I'm sorry, I thought this whole thing was about picking a winner, not like, I don't know, maybe the Ravens.
We're doing a show, Scotty. Nobody cares about just like you choose the Chiefs. Cool, got it. Like, let's talk about what could happen. That's the whole point of what we're doing here. Why would anybody pull this up, find this, download it, listen to it just for, Scotty thinks the Chiefs. Got it. Because they do this every year. Got it. Okay, cool. I'm glad I tuned in.
Like, it's because I got a lot of fans, of course. Why else would anyone listen to any of this?
I think it's that's fine if you want to do a bit, but I think it's I think it's fine if you're doing a bit, but I also think I think it's important that you hear me on this eventually. It doesn't have to be now. I don't think it is now. This is why we do it. I think this is where this all came from. Okay, whatever. I'm taking the Chiefs too.
You care to go into why?
God.
You want to go through all the angles and see what's going on,
I'm taking the Chiefs as well. because it's really hard when Scotty yells all of his points like this.
What points? What points? They do this every year. Was his point? Easy.
Well, no,
I
because
didn't even finish saying the matchup, and
he
he was like,
says some of the things that I wanted to say. Like I do think that the Chiefs offense could win by a touchdown here. I think that that's not that hard. Like, I really don't have that much faith in the Ravens defense to stop Mahomes. I don't think that this is going to be like that close of a game. 3.5 spread. Yeah, the Chiefs can easily win by a touchdown. I think they'll probably win by 2. So when Sky was bringing up like, oh yeah, if the spread was a little bit bigger, maybe like if it was Chiefs 12, whatever, then like you might want to think about it a little bit more. But it's 3.5. The Chiefs got this.
I think, Kevin, you just have a problem right now. I don't know, maybe you're not listening, but Andrew, that was very insightful, Andrew. Good job.
he said all the things you said.
Exactly.
It's awesome.
You guys both suck. All right, let's
I
get to
just
the
said
last
it a
freaking
little
game.
less angry.
Yeah, I like the way Andrew said it way better than the way you said it.
Sky's taking his passion about the targeting rule from last week and applying it to the spread here.
Don't even bring it up. I don't even want to hear about that.
You know what? No. Here's what, honestly, Kevin, it's your fault for bringing out that cheater Ryan Brown. That set me off from the very beginning, and I have not been able to come down from that.
Hey, Scotty, if all it takes is a washed up, like hasn't been good in 10 years baseball player for the Milwaukee Bucks to get you fired up.
Milwaukee Brewers. And I had to sit through that BS the entire time I lived in Wisconsin. It's a little close to home for me. It's not just some random dude at a team out west, Like it was like that was my team when I lived there, and I had to watch that freaking.
If I hadn't brought it up, Scotty, I don't think you and I would have ever talked about it. Ever.
That's good.
Ever.
We don't need to talk about it.
The last game that we're going to talk about is the Steelers and Raiders. I'm all frazzled. It's Raiders in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's -5.5. You guys can start. I gotta compose myself a little bit.
I'm going to take the Raiders here because I think that the Steelers are just a bunch of cocky players, and I think that they're going to just be so full of themselves, and I don't know, that can be very detrimental. I think Juju's going to have a terrible game, and I think that, he's going to just be way too focused on TikTok this week because they're at home, so he's got to get more fans in the crowd, whatever. And I think that the Raiders will end up winning and upsetting the Steelers here.
Andrew, you love Juju. You're going to be the first person waiting for that TikTok video.
I do love Juju, but I think that it can be a distraction. And I think that, the Raiders got this. So, boom.
I'm going to piggyback off of you, Andrew. I watching the game last night, the Raiders and the Ravens. The Raiders defense, I mean, Scotty, you called them trash. So I'm really actually interested to hear your take on this because you just got done trashing the Raiders and saying that they're a terrible team. I
say they were terrible team.
No. We'll rewind it back. I watching that game last night. I'm telling you, like they were getting tons of pressure on Lamar Jackson, and because he's physically gifted and agile and quick and able to escape out of the pocket when it breaks down, he was still able to have success and put up great numbers and have a great day. Ben can't do that anymore. So if they bring that same intensity, I think the Raiders are going to have a good game. And also, the Raiders are one of those teams that when they play Pittsburgh, they usually have success. Like in the last 10 to 20 years, the Titans, the Jags, and the Raiders, for some reason, they just always play well against the Steelers. No matter how good or bad the team is that year, they always play well. So I'm taking the Raiders. I like their chance to at least cover, if not win the game.
This one's definitely the hardest one to pick, I would say, out of all the games. So I'm going to maybe voice a little bit of not definitiveness there, Kev, for you. But 5.5 is tough. I think this is definitely a game that the Steelers will probably kind of just find their way to win. Like they did last week against Buffalo, where they play the entire game and don't look like the better team, yet somehow the scoreboard says otherwise, and no one knows why. I could see that definitely happening again this week, but I don't know, 5.5. The Raiders I could see the Raiders surprising them here. I'm gonna go through some of the scenarios here. I think they could do it. I mean, I think that they definitely could, like, maybe, I don't know, only lose by 3 points or something like that. But I don't know. I feel like, just again, home field. It's been a long time since the Steelers had a full crowd. I could see them doing okay, and I'm gonna pick them to win this week.
Well, I think that a new rule moving forward is pre-red light coming on. Your picks need to be locked and loaded.
They were.
No. Sorry. I did not mean to say that in an accusatory manner. I'm just going next time. This is kind of behind the scenes here. I will be asking you all if they are locked in. Obviously, you could change them here, but it's on a little honor system. But as we go through the analysis, that detailed, nuanced analysis that Scotty loves so much. I don't want anybody shifting around. Right? We're playing for a jersey here. I need a Myles Garrett jersey. So anyway, that's it. Transition. Okay,
Sure.
great. I'm glad we're all in alignment. Transition.
Yeah.
All right. So these helmets. Let's get into it. So we're still developing the some of these, call them punishments. Really they're more inconveniences. I think that's a better way to call it. Nobody's getting anything tattooed on their face, right? But we're developing a list. I sent it to you guys. If you have any questions we can talk through some of them. If you're wondering what any of them are, the floor is open. We can generate some of these on our own. But Andrew and I are already in the hole for one.
Super sad. I feel like we get to pick what we do, though, right?
Yeah.
It's not like
Oh, yeah.
random. Okay. So
You don't have to choose now. We can figure that out later on, and we don't have to announce anything now. But yes, I mean some of the inconveniences. The Steph Curry, the Bobby Petrino, the Blue Man Group. There are these ones
what
that
is the Blue Man
No
Group?
one will know what any of those are.
I think the Blue Man Group's pretty
You
self-explanatory.
just gotta be blue.
Yep.
Paint your face blue.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Do a show with blue face paint.
That's fair.
Yep. Still working again. We're gonna have a whole list of these, and we'll cross them off as we go. But if you guys don't have any questions about it, then or if you don't have any suggestions, then we can.
I have a suggestion.
Oh, sure.
I don't have a fun fancy name for it. Maybe we could think of
I
that
don't
later.
know. I think you need a fancy name at the onset. Otherwise,
okay, fine. We'll call it the sweetie pie.
Okay. I don't even. I'm writing it down. I don't even. What is that?
It's when you get pied in the face with a whipped cream pie.
I love that. I've always wondered about that. If it would hurt, because the pie is only so deep, and it's we all have facial hair. The cleanup for that has got to be kind of unpleasant.
That's rough. Except for Nick.
Especially if it has to be at the beginning of the show. That would be even more inconvenient.
It's a sticky situation, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, it'd be kind of sticky. Well, then let's go through. Let me pull up week 2 schedule. Scotty, we are not all together right now. So, Scotty, you've got the cauldron. Or do you have that handy?
Hear that?
Actually, I don't hear that.
Thank the Lord we didn't hear that. It's probably clipping his mic, so it's not going to pick up. Which
it's
is
like,
awesome.
no, we don't like this. No. I like to hear the clanging and clinking of plastics together.
No,
you're going. No.
You gotta
Stop.
back away.
You don't
from
understand.
It.
Yeah, if for audio listeners only, he's taking our black cauldron of helmets, the cauldron of hell, I guess, and he's shaking it vigorously in the mic. But that's not how it works. Go ahead, Sky. Do a little.
No, it doesn't like it.
No, is it empty? Can you look? Can you check to make sure there's anything in there? Oh, look, they're all in there. Put your hand in there and stir it a bit. Stop being so vigorous. Just do a gentle stir.
Scott, can you
Are you
talk?
are you muted?
No, can you hear me?
Oh my gosh, this is like magic.
That's Houdini.
Hey,
This is some audio. This is some
Ross,
audio
they
AV
know what they're
magic.
doing.
I
Wow.
guess so. All right. Well, then that's the wrong year.
I'll go 1st
I'm gonna hold.
You can.
I'm gonna
pick
hold the
mine.
bucket over my head so you guys know that I can't see what's in there. I'm just gonna pull it out. That's sound
Scotty,
good.
yeah, there's a lot of trust here. Okay, I mean,
Well, this is. I mean, this is the most transparent as I can get it. I can't see.
no. I know. I'm not. I'm not calling your integrity into question right now.
No. But you would all agree that there's no way that I could manipulate this, right?
There's no way unless you've removed preemptively pre-air some of the good helmets and a sleight of hand add them to. I'm assuming good intent here. Let's on with it. Andrew, you want to go first?
I'll go first. I'll go first.
All right. Again, no bye weeks this week. Andrew's already in the hole for one. So let's let her rip.
Oofda.
He's
No
shaking it
whammies
around.
And stop.
This is not the Buccaneers. This is
double
punishment.
Double punishment.
Oh.
What?
Well, you can send it back.
I'm gonna send it back, please.
You know, I should have added a byline in the rules for this game that if you get one of those, you can't send it back. But I don't have that, so he's allowed to send it back.
Send it back.
Next week, there might be might be a rule like 2B or something like that. You can't send back a specialty helmet. But anyway, it's put back in.
But just for our viewers to remind the rules, if one were to get that, they just automatically do 2 punishments, or if they lose, they do 2 punishments.
No. They get automatic 2 punishments.
Double punish, man.
Let's hope I don't pick that again.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Here he goes. Yeah. Thank you. Empty hand. Gotcha. This is great. It doesn't have to take that long, but
the Atlanta Falcons.
The Atlanta Falcons play. God. They are in Tampa. So.
Oh my God.
Well, hey,
it's just one more punishment instead of 2.
But if you think about it, that's exactly right. So Drew, oh gosh, Falcons. Let's go Andrew, or let's go Nick next. Let's do Nick's, and we can the 3 of us together, we can decide if we keep it or not.
Arizona Cardinals.
The Arizona Cardinals are. Where are you? The Arizona Cardinals are at home against the Vikings.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Nick would take
I don't
that.
know.
Nick would take
I don't
that.
know. Maybe.
What?
I don't know. Maybe
did
he
you
wouldn't
see what
take
the Cardinals did last week against the Titans?
Well, maybe he wouldn't take it. I don't know. This isn't really fair.
He would
you know
take
what?
it.
Until he knows we're playing this game, let's play it by the book. He's got the Cardinals.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, that's
a pretty good matchup.
As indecisive as Nick actually is, he would take.
I'll go. I'll take it. I'll go next.
Okay.
I hate this. I'm gonna hate. It's not. It doesn't even feel. Don't hold on. So keep your hand in the bucket there. I'm not ready yet. And until we actually start doing some of these inconveniences, I don't think that we fully grasp the weight of these these helmet draws. I'm nervous. I'm gonna stop talking now. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead. We need some background music.
I got the Patriots again.
Again? Oh my gosh. Okay, the Patriots are on the road against the Jets. Ooh. Ah. Oh, I'm taking it. I'm going to take it. I can't believe I'm doing this again. I'm going to take the Patriots, and if it's fool me once, shame on you. I can't believe I'm doing this again.
The battle of the rookie quarterbacks.
You don't get fooled again.
Get fooled again.
All right, Scotty, you're up, buddy. Keep that cauldron high. Andrew, we got to work on getting some background music for this, even if it's just a little jingle. You're right. This is a little dead air.
It's fine.
You know what? You don't have enough going on. Can you just whip something up real quick?
Little songs.
Go ahead, Scotty.
Oh, no.
The Raiders, as we mentioned, on the road against the Steelers. And this is not against the spread. This is just straight wins and losses. What do you got?
The problem I have right now is that I don't particularly love the Raiders' chance, but also compared to some other things that I could get,
What'll it be?
I'm going to put it back and I'm going to do another one.
Wow, throwing back the Raiders. You'll end up with like the Packers or something. All right. Do.
The Ravens.
Yes. Yes. Scotty gets Baltimore, who
That
as we
was karma
talked.
for me being so definitive that Baltimore cannot win this game.
That's right. Now they're going to win, and everything will be. You'll look dumb, but you won't have to do an inconvenience.
Some
All
look
right.
done either way.
All right. Anything else? Anything else you guys want to go through? It was a relatively quick show, I think. I mean, keep it under 45 for the people out there. Anything else? All right, great. We got to get a Twitch thing
Go
going.
Dodgers.
Kershaw, choker.
No, he won last night.
He won last night. He went do it in the postseason.
He won last
postseason.
And do it again.
Yeah, that didn't count. It didn't. COVID. That 2020 did not count in baseball.
Do it again. Do it again.
Jeez.
Do it on the road again.
A lot of
in
heat
front
from
of fans.
two guys whose teams are, not really in it right now.
Hey, listen, you can't
Stop
stand the
talking.
heat. Get out of the kitchen,
Yeah, well, sorry, we don't ride the bandwagon like.
Hold on a second. I'm tired. Hold on. Let me just go off real quick on this Kershaw guy. This dude, he's a Hall of Famer, generational pitcher. What have you done for me lately? You need to have a couple. Give me a couple pennants. Give me a couple titles. You need to be
He has.
The resume can't just be was really, really good.
Okay, well that's Dan Marino's resume, and he's fine with it.
Dan Marino will never be considered one of the top quarterbacks of all time for that reason. And some people can argue that. It's baseball, though.
Kershaw I would have more respect for Kershaw if he didn't always pitch in a stacked rotation. I mean, if he was the guy, like Cole Hamels was in 2008, he was the only ace.
Do it on your own.
He was the guy. You're talking literally stacked rotation as of the last 2 years.
Well, they haven't won until the last 2 years.
The last 5 years, they've had the best rotation in the National League. They have. They absolutely have.
I think that's debatable.
The fact that even he's always had at least another pitcher or two pitchers on the rotation that could help him out if he had a bad game or can win some extra games. You've never had to rely on Kershaw like you've had on some of these other pitchers that have made it and won the World Series. So for that reason, that's why he needs more than people.
The Yankees of the West. It's like you're never gonna. The Yankees have always had great teams. It's like you can't prop up one dude as the best of all time in a team that's just loaded.
I'm not necessarily calling him the best of all time, but I think that there is some merit when you have over 2,500 strikeouts and you're I mean, he's been an all-star a bunch of times. He's got Cy Youngs. I mean,
Jason Bay was an all-star. What does that mean?
He's a top 10 pitcher, and he's always been a top 10 pitcher. He's in the top 10. Is he ever number one? Maybe a season, but he's not consistently the best pitcher of all time, or the best pitcher even of this era, or at least even the best pitcher of this decade. Okay. I would argue that Scherzer is a heck of a lot better than Kershaw has been.
You're not wrong.
And guess what?
I'm not even
arguing.
Guess
where Scherzer's pitching.
Yeah, he's there now. Are you just salty about that because the Phillies didn't go out and get somebody like him? I mean, anybody can pay that money. Anybody can.
I actually really like Kershaw.
I do too. He's a really good guy.
All right, see you next week.
Boom.
The top three?
We can do top three. Yeah.
I keep forgetting about this damn top three. We got too many things going on. It's been a long day. Let's do it. We'll do it. Okay, Scotty, who wants? I got one. I got it. Who wants one? All right. Top 3 candle scents.
Oh.
Yeah, buddy.
Damn. I would go from Yankee Candle. I would go Cottage Breeze, which I think is retired scent now. I would say Holiday Bayberry for Christmas time. And then Katie has this pumpkin marshmallow latte for the fall. It's pretty good. We burned that yesterday, so I'm gonna go with that for number 3.
Thank you, Andrew. Scotty, you got one?
I got one for Andrew. Let's go top 3 Looney Tune characters.
Oh,
Stacked category.
that's a lot. We'll go with Lola Bunny, Bugs Bunny, and the Tasmanian Devil. Let's go.
You left a lot on the table there, bud.
A lot on the table.
Hey, those are it's subjective. Kevin, top 3 original Pokemon.
Like, I reserve the right to revise this later on, but in the moment, Bulbasaur is number 1, and it's not even close. After that, I'm going Mewtwo, and then after that, Farfetch'd. See you next week. All right, so if you've listened this far, you must, for some reason, like what you've heard. So, given that, please remember to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure to follow us on Twitter @ObsessionCast for all future episode updates and whatever else we might post, sports related or otherwise. Thanks for watching.